What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Menace with the Mix podcast. I'm your host, Jay, and I hope you guys are ready to get mixy with me. As you guys can tell, today is a writing solo episode. There is no guest today, so it's just going to be me and y'all. And honestly, as you guys can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about some things that people don't really talk about and address in real life. I know y'all thinking it, but y'all probably don't really understand it or really speak about it. And I want to say that bullying within your family could literally be the smallest things, from how they talk to you, how they interact with you. Personally, I would say my parents are from New York, I'm from New York, so New York parents are really harsh, and sometimes we need it. It really be how they be talking to us, I'm not gonna lie. It's a form of disrespect. We're supposed to have respect for our parents, but I always say you have to give respect to get respect. And I understand that's our parents, that's our mom, that's our dad, we're supposed to automatically give respect, but it's how do you expect us to tolerate disrespect from y'all? Go out in the world and not tolerate disrespect from other people. When you're already kind of putting it in our mind that it's okay for us to be talked to in that manner, or for us to talk to other people in that manner in a disrespectful way. You know what I mean? So I feel for me, that's the main form of bullying that we experience with our parents. Their disrespectful ways of speaking to us. That alone is one of the aspects that lead to, I want to say, childhood trauma that does affect us in our adulthood. So when I speak to people in the real world and I'm being disrespectful, but they were raised differently, there's a disconnection. People from the South, they have this Southern hospitality, they're very respectful. Thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am. Whereas in New York, this could be a teacher. Yo, Alex, first of all, when I was growing up, it was Mr. and Mrs., and now they got the kids calling them by their first names. That's why children today don't respect authority. That childhood trauma that we do experience affects our self-esteem, our relationships, and just our overall mental health. And a lot of, I want to say, Black families or even Hispanic families, that is a conversation that isn't really had or talked about in minority families. And I'm speaking from personal experience. My mom's a teacher, she was a therapist at one point. So my personal thing with her was, my mom is a little more soft spoken, but she got that side of her where she, get up in there. And my dad, across the board, he gonna tell you how he feels. You're gonna, respect what he gotta say, or it's really F you, honestly. It's not a good way to be, and I'm not, shitting on my parents or nothing like that, because my parents, they 10 toes down with it, hold it down for me. But, there's just conversations that I've had to have with them where I just speak on, more so my dad, and I feel it's because we're so similar that, we always clash heads. We're always bumping heads, because it's he just got this way about him, and it's just this is how I feel. You're gonna either respect it or you're not gonna respect it. And if you don't respect it, then we got an issue. We got a problem. That's just how my dad is. So I just had to have those conversations with him. And even my mom, just how I feel about just the way that he speaks to me. It's very disrespectful, and it's not even intentional. And that's another thing. Parents, when it comes to their sons, they're a little more harsh. For example, with my sister, my parents are very mild-mannered, and they, are more so conscious of how they speak to her, because women are more emotional and blah, blah, blah. And I just feel that's unfair to men, because at the end of the day, I got feelings too. Why am I supposed to just take the disrespect and be I'm a man, I'm gonna suck it up, it's okay, blah, 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 I'll get over it? No, men have feelings too. And verbal abuse is definitely one of those issues that I've come across, and has caused me a little bit of, I want to say, childhood trauma that I have been able to speak to my parents about as an adult, and kind of just get them to understand how they spoke to me has affected me, long term. It's something that I'm still working through, and it's something that I have to implement into relationships that I'm building with, anyone who I'm dating, friendships, other family members. There's just a certain mutual respect, I feel that has to be established. When you speak to somebody however you want to, and you're not trying to be understanding, or you're not trying to hear what they're saying for real, and it's going through one ear and out the other, it's just a whole domino effect. My sister, love her to death, but my sister has a little oomph to her. She's from New York, and like I feel like she's so much more like my dad than I am. Like I'm very similar to my dad, like I said before, but my sister really like she gonna say what she gotta say. She gonna speak on how she feel, and you gonna respect it, or we got a problem. And I don't know, like I don't want to say that's a bad thing because I feel like we should all stand up for ourselves. We should all like be vocal. But it's like there's a certain way that you go about it, and if you are experiencing or you feel like you're experiencing some sort of verbal abuse, and again, it doesn't have to be intentional, but you do want to call it out as it's happening because sometimes like our parents, our friends, our family members, the people that we're dating, like they don't realize just like what they're doing. So it's like it's our jobs to not only just stand up for ourselves, but educate them a little bit and just like teach them different habits, better habits than the ones that they have. But I have witnessed where there's parents that do talk down to their children and they talk to them like they're a rat off the street. Now my parents, they gonna get in my ass. They gonna do that. But there's like a certain level that they're gonna take it to. Like they don't treat me like trailer park trash. They're not doing that. Now, what I've seen in these streets, what I've been seeing on these videos on social media, I need to clock y'all parents. I'm not gonna lie. It's one thing to be respectful and understand where your parents coming from and like being open-minded and not disrespecting them. I didn't really start talking back to my parents for real, like really like speaking on how I feel until I want to say like 19 maybe 20. Like my form of coping with those bad moments or those bad times that I couldn't really like speak up without coming off disrespectful, like I was quiet to avoid those types of conversations or those kinds of confrontations. I didn't really speak up. I kind of just started saying okay, yes. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, my parents wasn't fucking with that either. Not gonna lie, my mom used to get in my ass if I'm like, all right, okay, no, did you hear me? Did you hear what I say? Like, it'd be like a tone. And again, I'm not shitting on my parents because they're great. So don't take this and run with it. Because my parents are great. But I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's like, okay, you don't want me to respond in this way, but I can't say okay, but I can't say like I'm trying not to be disrespectful, but you're still somehow correlating my and my yeses and my okays. I heard you. How do you expect me to react when I feel like you're attacking me? Like, and again, that may not be their intention, but it comes off in that manner, and I feel like that's something that does affect us down the line. And again, like how we deal with other people. My self-esteem, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very much confident. Very much confident. I don't feel like my parents have ever made me feel low to the point where it's like my self-esteem is affected. Personally, like I don't like confrontation. Like I will try my best to avoid confrontation, and that's not because like I'm scared of anybody or I feel like they could beat me up or something. Like I don't care about those things because at the end of the day I'm gonna get in the paint. Win, lose, or draw, we can shoot the fair one. I'm not gonna lie. Never been scared. But I don't like the place that it takes me to. I don't like how it makes me feel. I don't like the amount of energy that I have to put out in battle, I guess we can call it. Like that doesn't feel good. That negative energy don't feel good. It's super draining. I'd rather be happy. I'd rather everybody be cool, cordial, whatever. I don't want to feel like I'm at war with anybody. And I also know like once I get in that place, it's hard to get me up out of it. I'm ruthless at that point. I'ma say anything, do anything to make you feel how I feel, to make you feel some type of way. And that's also a bad habit that I want to get out of as an adult. Because you cannot get even with everybody. After 18, you're going to jail. You put your hands on somebody and they decide they want to call the cops on you, you're going to jail. So it's like you have to learn new habits on your own and teach yourself how to deal with confrontation, how to deal with people. Sometimes you have to just remove yourself from the situation. Sometimes you can't get that last word. You just have to separate yourself. You have to check in with yourself like, yo, if I do this, what's going to happen after? If I put my hands on somebody, what will be the consequences? And for me, I'm learning to not let what's happened in my childhood, because again, I didn't have a bad childhood, but there are certain things that I wish were different or things that I wish I could have changed. And not gonna lie, I feel like my parents were my first bully. Well, bullies. They were my first bullies. They was the first ones clocking tea like, that outfit look a mess. Fix your hair, you look crazy. You can't go outside looking like that. And at the end of the day, we are a representation of our parents. And that's cool. But again, there's a way that you say those kinds of things to your children. Like you don't realize how what you say and how you say it can affect their self-esteem. Like even telling your kid, your breath stink. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, instead of saying my breath stink, how about you teach me how to brush my teeth properly? How about you give me a piece of gum? It's very important that we work on those things. Like, okay, our parents are older, or however old your parents are. They're at a point in life where they're more than likely stuck in their ways. So the best way to deal with that is by working on yourself, teaching yourself those things, teaching your friends those things, teaching the people that you're dating people how to treat you, and not just settling for anything. As I've grown and I've dealt with different kinds of people, I've learned the things that I do like and I don't like. I learned that I want to be spoken to in a certain manner. And if you can't respect how I feel, I'm good on you. Like, I don't have to get rowdy with you. I don't have to put out the same energy that you're putting onto me. But I'm going to definitely remove myself from that situation. I'm learning that some people don't deserve chance after chance after chance. You got one time to show me how you feel based off of how you move. Or you got one time to show me who you are. One red flag. One. And I'm gone. I'm not allowing people to treat me or talk to me. However, I'm not allowing people to give me crumbs. And I'm cool with it. Self-awareness is one of like the biggest things. That's the first step to breaking a cycle. That's the first step to turning a new leaf. Like, you have to start off with you. That's outside of the parents part. The way I'm going to talk to my friends, the way I'm going to talk to whoever I'm in a relationship with is going to be completely different than how I'm going to address things with my parents. Sometimes we be feeling like, I'm not going to lie, I'm ready to cut off my parent. Like, you're done. I've had those moments where I just feel like I can't take it no more. Like, I don't want to talk to you. You're blocked. But at the end of the day, like, are we really growing from doing that? Like, we're more so running away from dealing with those issues or addressing those issues, those problems. And with friends, I've also kind of ran from having those types of conversations because I don't like to lose people. I don't like to feel like I have to pull back on somebody. I don't like to have to feel like I have to remove myself out the equation because I'm very caring, I'm very nurturing. I'm willing to give people chance after chance after chance. How many times am I going to allow somebody to walk over me before I decide to speak up on something? And it's like, if people can't respect how you feel, or they can't see how what they're doing is affecting you, and you've spoken on it, you have to remove yourself. Like I said, we can't get in the paint every time. I'm not going to be fighting in the middle of Times Square because somebody just said something crazy out their mouth to me. Now, if you touch me, that's another thing. I can't make any promises on that I'm just going to walk away. But I'm going to think twice. Because I want to treat people how I want to be treated. I want to start those positive habits. I don't want to carry on the negativity, the hate. You have to set boundaries with people. If you don't let people know how to treat you, they're going to cross lines. They're going to cross boundaries. Stand firm on your boundaries. Let's really speak about that. Because I have a problem with standing firm on my boundaries. And honestly, I feel like me not setting boundaries for people and following through with them mainly has definitely left me, in some really tricky, I don't want to say bad, but really like tricky situations because it's just like, I know I don't like to be talked to like this. I know I don't like to be treated like this. I know that these are things that make me upset and don't make me feel good. But you have to let people know. You have to speak up. And don't let anybody change you or make you feel like take it or leave it. Because not gonna lie, if you're not respecting my boundaries, I'm gonna leave it. And again, this is something that I'm learning and something that I'm working on. It's very important to heal. We went through these things, but that doesn't mean that we have to be this way as adults. We have to, like I said, teach ourselves new habits. We have to get out of the bad ones. We have to learn how to communicate our feelings. We have to learn how to deal with people. And not saying that you have to kind of like rearrange how you move or just switch up how you act or how you talk or how you speak. It's also important to reward those who do work with you and do respect what you're saying. Like, not saying you have to buy them a gift or something like that, not literally, but to let them know, like, I see your growth, I see your change, I see that you listen to what I said. Like, just that verbal acknowledgement makes a difference. You have to celebrate the small wins. I'm not gonna lie. It starts with the small wins, and then from there it goes up. We have to remember that our past doesn't define us. And I feel like a lot of people use maybe their childhood trauma or things that they've gone through in the past as an excuse for how they treat and deal with others. Okay, your dad used to scream on you, your dad used to beat on you, or your mom used to scream on you, your mom was verbally abusive. Okay, so what are you doing to make sure that in the future you're not dealing with people like that? People aren't dealing with you like that. You can't allow those challenges, those hurdles, that trauma to affect you as you grow, period. Not even just as like an adult. Don't let that deter you from being a better person, from being a good person. You have the power to change things. You also need to surround yourself with people that positively impact you, that empower you, that motivate you to be that bigger, better person, that teach you how to do the right thing ultimately, how to maybe not be verbal abusive like your mom or dad, how to not be physically abusive like your mom or dad, like how to communicate your feelings, how to understand your emotions and translate that to other people. In the Black community, I want to say therapy is not encouraged. Why that is, I don't know, but I feel like therapy is very beneficial. I haven't personally been to therapy. It's something that I've been wanting to get into because I feel like there's a lot of things that I don't understand about myself just yet, or things that I need to learn about myself that could help me curve bad habits that I have, or help me understand why I am the way I am. Are there things that my parents have done, that friends in the past have done, that ex-boyfriends have done to me in the past that have affected me? I get real defensive. And sometimes like it don't even be that deep. Sometimes it don't even be that serious. But I've been through situations or I've dealt with people that made me feel like I had to either A, be on defense mode all the time with them, or B, like I have an issue with over explaining myself. Some things don't need to really be over explained or really explained at all. This is how I feel. This is what I need from you. And we go from there. I like the fact that when you're dealing with a therapist, they have no previous knowledge of who you are before you started talking to them. They don't have any bias. They can give you a clear perspective. They can call you out and say that you were wrong in that moment. They can call you out and say maybe you overreacted. They can call you out and just let you know this is something you shouldn't deal with. This is something you shouldn't tolerate. If it makes you feel like this, move. You gotta let it go. You have to separate yourself. You know, they can just give you a fresh new perspective on a situation and that you probably wasn't even thinking of. You know, and I haven't been to therapy, so I can't really give y'all too much tea on that because I don't really know all the ins and outs. But from what I've heard, like I do know that people kind of walk away from therapy just a better person overall. Therapy isn't for everybody, but I do think it's something that especially people in the Black community should get into because there's a lot of trauma, period. Forget the parents part, you know, like Black people be going through a lot. As you get older, you have to know that you choose your family. Family is not always blood related. This could be like a friend that you've known for 15 years, 10 to 15 years. This could be a distant cousin that you just met up with, but y'all click. Y'all have a great relationship. Like, you choose your family. Blood family, blood relatives, they're always gonna be here, but that don't mean that we gotta deal with them. That don't mean that we always have to give them our all. It could be a simple phone call. Hey, how are you? Okay, cool. Just checking on you. Gloop. Like, that's it. Another way to cope, or not cope really, but to heal, engage into new activities. Learn about yourself. Read a book. Try out yoga. Go to Pilates. Go to a strip class. I'm not gonna lie, I wanna get on that pole and do my one too. They may not make it rain on me, but that's something that would probably make me happy because I like to dance. I like trying new things. New experience make me happy. Try a new restaurant. Try some new food. Go on a trip. Go on a vacation. Go to a spa. I'm not gonna lie, the spa will make you zen. detox. Like, you know, just try new things. You never know what can help you move along in life, that can help you grow, whatever that is. It really doesn't matter. Pottery, yoga, like, it could be anything. I'm not gonna lie, try out some new things. Try out some new things. Like, for me, this podcast is a new thing for me. This is something that's like healing for me. This is something where I get to reflect. I get to see my growth. I get to track my growth. I get to interact with new people that I don't deal with on the daily basis, get their opinions, hear their perspectives. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks for tapping into episode 5. I don't know why I did 2 hands. It's only 1 hand. 5. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, leave some comments. Tap the link in the description box. That is my questionnaire. If you guys have questions or you guys have like a topic that y'all want me to discuss or touch on or give my opinion on, definitely let me know at the link below. If you guys do feel like you're experiencing some sort of verbal abuse, physical abuse, and you don't know how to deal with it on your own, definitely seek help. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean you go to therapy. It could be talking to a close family member that you feel like really understands you. It could be a close friend. It could be a sibling. It could be, I don't know, a stranger at a bar. Literally anyone. Any new, I feel like any, well, let me not say that. Definitely don't go speaking your issues to a person at a bar. I'll take that back. But definitely seek help. Definitely seek some support. Don't get stuck in your ways. Don't let people, friends, family, whoever, stop you from growing. Don't let what someone's done to you in the past affect your future. Again, we are not our parents. We can make a change. We can be different. We can break the cycle. So, not gonna lie, therapy might be a great option. Not gonna lie. Because I'm about to tap in. And also, like, there's online therapy. You can do it virtually. You can do it in person. That's really up to you. You can read a book. You can listen to podcasts. There's a podcast literally for everything. So just the way that I'm speaking about it, there's probably like thousands of other people that touch on these topics that can really help you understand or give you suggestions on how to deal with these kinds of things. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you guys on the next episode of Menace with the Mix podcast, and I'm out.